Astrology Video Forecast. This is episode number 31 for the period from September 29th to October 15th. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Benjamin Bernstein of astroshaman.com, coming to you from Asheville, North Carolina. I'm an astrologer, shamanic healer, and awakening activator, and it's my pleasure to bring you these weekly astrology forecasts. Starting with this video, I am now posting video forecasts twice a month. My podcasts and newsletters are also shifting to a semi-monthly schedule, with everything going out around the 1st and 15th of each month. You'll still get thorough forecasts for each day, just delivered less often. In at least one way, this new schedule works to your advantage. Since my detailed forecasting now extends more than twice as far into the future, you have more time to prepare for most of the astrological events. So, what's new for the period September 29th through October 15th? Well, 2014's most powerful eclipse occurs on October 8th, aligning with the multi-year Uranus-Pluto square to energize revolutionary transformation. The 17 days covered by this forecast also include Mercury turning retrograde, potent T-squares that combine Uranus and Pluto with the Sun and Venus, and the peaking of a fiery and inspiring grand trine. A lot going on. What's old this week? We open with a waxing moon and two T-squares, or rather one is in play. The one with the Sun, Uranus, and Pluto has already begun, although it peaks during this forecast period. And the grand trine I spoke of, the fiery, inspiring one, kicked off on September 26th and will peak and end during this forecast period also. As a reminder, the only lunations I report on here are new and full moons. For other lunar events, check out my audio podcast, This Week in Astrology. So, let's break it down day by day. On Monday, September 29th, Venus transits her home sign of Libra. She's going to be there through October 23rd, establishing harmony, balance, and equilibrium in relationships and creative expression are easier during this time. We also have an aspect pattern, a Thor's hammer, involving Mars, Juno, and Chiron. Taking decisive action to heal any dysfunctionality in your committed partnerships is energized by this Thor's hammer. Again, it has Mars in Sagittarius, Juno in Cancer, and Chiron in Pisces. These energies also support relationship counseling, sexual healing, and bringing a more adventurous spirit to your partnerships. This Thor's hammer begins today. That would be September 29th. And it's going to peak on the 4th of October and end on October 12th. Next, we skip 3 days, believe it or not, on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That would be September 30th as well as October 1st and 2nd. There are no astrological events except some lunar stuff, which I don't report in this video forecast. So our next significant day is going to be Friday, October 3rd. And our first significant event on this day is Venus quincunx Neptune. Are you experiencing confusion around your relationships or creative direction? That can happen with Libra and Venus quincunx Neptune, and they are at 5 degrees and 17 minutes Libra Pisces, Venus and Libra, Neptune and Pisces. This aspect can be more productively employed by focusing on soul connection with your beloved. If you're an artist, create quiet space so that your muse can communicate its inspirations. On Saturday, October 4th, we open with the Sun square Pluto. Personal transformation is strongly energized by this aspect. The Sun's at 11 degrees 1 minute Libra, and Pluto is at 11 degrees 1 minute Capricorn. And I just remembered, I worked with this on the podcast this week. I'm going to round to the nearest degree. If you want exact coordinates down to the minute, I'm now putting those in my written forecast on astroshaman.com. But for the purposes of this video, we'll go to the nearest rounded degree. In the spirit of grow or die, let the stagnant, calcified things that no longer serve you fall away. As they do, you can more easily transform into an even more wonderful version of yourself. With the Sun in Libra, also release relationships and creative pursuits that no longer support your optimal direction. But everything in alignment with your highest good in these areas will be empowered and energized. Mars square Chiron is next here on October 4th. Emotional triggers and challenging confrontations are more likely than usual with this aspect. Mars 14 Sagittarius, Chiron at 14 Pisces. If you get upset, try this healing invocation to release the negative energy that got churned up. That would be the 7-word statement spoken to your higher self. Maximum healing that serves highest good, please. Rest passively in breath awareness and let the healing come to you. Proactively directing your energy into healing or mentoring is a great way to mine this aspect's positive potential. Next up, on a rather full October 4th, is Mercury retrograde. It's turning retrograde at 1:02 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, and it's turning in Scorpio at 2 degrees 18 minutes. It's going to go through October 25th at 3:17 p.m., and that'll end at around 17 degrees Libra as it turns direct. Avoid starting major projects or making major purchases if possible during a Mercury retrograde, but Mercury retrograde is always an excellent time for reflection, planning, repairs, and completing projects already started. Mercury will retrace its scorpionic steps through October 10th. Reflection on shared resources, sacred sexuality, occult practices, and transformation could be especially fruitful. With Mercury then reversing through Libra October 11th through October 25th, ponder relationship and creative expression. Also think about how effectively you're integrating harmony, balance, and equilibrium into your life. Finally, how are your entertainment choices influencing your consciousness? The Thor's Hammer that started on September 29th peaks today here on October 4th and ends on October 12th. And then we've got a kite. The Grand Trine that started on September 26th blossoms into a kite today. Again, today means October 4th. As I wrote in my augmented September 26th forecast, adventurous action, intuitively inspired, and joyfully executed is energized by this aspect pattern, which includes Sagittarian Mars, Leonine Jupiter, and Arian Uranus. I noted that this Grand Trine can help you begin or re-energize unusual endeavors relating to higher education, religion, philosophy, or foreign cultures. Or you can step more boldly into your role as a leader or entertainer in a way that exactly fits your unique talents and proclivities. This aspect pattern can also help you receive intuitive flashes more easily and take actions that benefit your fellow beings, human or otherwise. So, what new meaning is added when the Libran Sun slips in to oppose Uranus and sextile Mars and Jupiter? Well, at the most basic level, your personal vitality can be delightfully enhanced by all this fiery energy. And Libran activities such as relating and creating are smoothly and powerfully energized. This kite peaks on October 7th, just one day after the Grand Trine that serves as its foundation reaches maximum strength, and both aspect patterns end on October 12th. On Sunday, October 5th, Mars trine Uranus. Taking immediate action on your intuitive flashes flows more easily under this aspect, with Mars at 15 Sagittarius and Uranus at 15 Aries. This aspect is part of the Grand Trine and Kite aspect patterns we've already discussed. Also today, on October 5th, we have Saturn conjunct Ceres, and this is happening right around 21 degrees Scorpio. This can show you where restructuring would be helpful in the areas of abundance, mother-daughter relationships, and self-esteem. Fortunately, they're coming together in Scorpio, which is the most supportive sign for transformation. Also, the Sun-Uranus-Pluto T-square that started on September 28th peaks today here on October 5th and ends on October 9th. And there's another T-square, this one with Uranus and Pluto teaming up with Venus, bringing positive change to your relationships and creativity, even if that change is sudden or radical, is supported by a T-square that features Venus making dynamic aspects to the multi-year Uranus-Pluto square. This aspect pattern starts today, that would be October 5th, peaks on October 9th, and ends on October 14th. So we now move into the second week of this forecast. For starters, here on Monday, the Mars-Jupiter-Uranus Grand Trine that started on September 26th peaks today, October 6th, and ends on October 12th. On Tuesday, October 7th, we have the Sun quincunx Chiron and the Sun opposing Uranus. We're going to interpret these as a composite. The Libran Sun makes these two aspects today. The Sun-Chiron quincunx, with the Sun at 14 Libra and Chiron at 14 Pisces, energizes healing and mentoring if you make the necessary adjustments to open to them. The Sun-Uranus opposition, Sun 14.5 Libra, Uranus 14.5 Aries, encourages you to let your freak flag fly, follow your intuitive flashes, and serve the collective with your unique talents. The Sun-Uranus opposition is also part of the Sun-Uranus-Pluto T-square that started on September 28th, peaks on October 5th, and ends on October 9th. Another aspect pattern that includes our indispensable celestial furnace, a kite, with the Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Uranus, peaks today on October 7th. It started on October 4th, and it ends on October 12th. On Wednesday, October 8th, the highlight of the whole forecast, the Aries lunar eclipse. This potent lunar eclipse, which is kind of like a full moon on steroids, lines up at 6:50 a.m. That's 6:50 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and it's in Aries at 15 degrees 5 minutes. I'll give you exact coordinates on this puppy. So, what adjustments would serve you in the areas of sexuality, leadership, initiation, and aggression? This is by far the most powerful eclipse of 2014. One reason is that the luminaries are only about 4 degrees from the lunar nodes, as you can see in my diagram. In an eclipse, the nodes can be up to 18 degrees away. This eclipse also gains power because it aligns with 2 potent aspect patterns, a T-square and a kite. The T-square includes the Sun, Uranus, and Pluto, and we've discussed it previously on this forecast. The moon's tight conjunction to Uranus delivers an emphatic message about embodying your authentic personality, following your intuitive flashes, and serving society with your unique gifts. Those 3 phrases are going to be repeated several times in this forecast. Pluto square to the luminaries encourages surrendering all that does not support your evolution. The more you do so, the easier it will be for divine power to saturate and guide you. And then there's also another aspect pattern in alignment with this eclipse, a kite, which includes the Libran Sun opposing Uranus and sextile Mars and Jupiter. While the meaning of the kite remains the same, and we have already discussed the kite here on the forecast, its power is dramatically boosted by this eclipse. It's the one where you get to follow your intuitive flashes and get all excited about going in the positive direction you're really drawn to. This eclipse's Sabian symbol is brightly clad brownies dancing in the warm, dying light. Brownies are earth elementals and are a variety of gnome. This image suggests the pleasure and camaraderie we can enjoy when we take time to connect with nature and relax into our own elemental nature. Also here on October 8th, today's Venus-Pluto square, Venus 11 Libra, Pluto 11 Capricorn, is best understood in the context of the Venus-Uranus-Pluto T-square that I interpreted just a couple of minutes ago. The same idea applies to a Mars-Jupiter trine, Mars 17 Sagittarius and Jupiter 17 Leo, which is integral to both the grand trine and the kite we've been talking about on this forecast. On Thursday, October 9th, the Venus-Uranus-Pluto T-square that started on October 5th peaks today, again, October 9th, and ends on October 14th. On Friday, October 10th, Mercury enters Libra, going backwards. Retrograde Mercury is backpedaling, and he'll be in Libra, or it, I should say. Mercury is a hermaphrodite. It'll be there through November 8th in Libra. Here it once again smooths the way for harmonious communication, creative writing, and easier learning. Also here on October 10th, Sun sextile Jupiter. And the meaning of this sextile, with the Sun around 18 Libra and Jupiter around 18 Leo, is already woven into the interpretation of the kite that it's part of, and which I have already interpreted on this forecast. Also here on October 10th, Venus quincunx Chiron. Getting emotionally triggered by someone who's important in your life is possible with Venus quincunx Chiron. This is Venus at 14 Libra, Chiron at 14 Pisces. Maintain as much harmony and equilibrium as you can to bring healing to the situation. And I gave you a few minutes ago my healing invocation, maximum healing that serves highest good, please. Again, say the words to your higher self, relax into passive breath awareness, and you might just get some healing vibe come along to help you out. On Saturday, October 11th, Mercury does 2 quintiles to Jupiter and Pluto. Especially powerful mental breakthroughs, creative writing, and inspired communication are energized by 2 quintiles, Mercury-Jupiter and Mercury-Pluto. With the Mercury-Jupiter combo, Mercury is at 29 degrees 36 minutes Libra, Jupiter is at the same coordinates in Leo. And with Mercury-Pluto, Mercury is at 29 degrees 5 minutes Libra, Pluto with the same coordinates in Capricorn. Then we have an opposition between Venus and Uranus here on October 11th. Venus 14 Libra, Uranus 14 Aries. And once again, I refer you back to a T-square, Venus-Uranus-Pluto, because this Venus-Uranus opposition is an integral part of that. And I'm not just copying out and not giving you interpretations that I should be. In reality, when you've got an aspect that's part of a larger pattern, you really can't understand it in isolation. So what I said about Venus-Uranus-Pluto would definitely apply here. We skip the next 2 days because there are no significant astrological events that aren't just little lunar events. So we're going to skip Sunday, October 12th and Monday, October 13th, and move right along to Tuesday, October 14th with Venus sextile Jupiter. Relating and creating are both harmoniously energized by this aspect, with Venus at 18 Libra and Jupiter at 18 Leo. This fortuitous aspect pattern can also give you an extra measure of luck. And our final day for this forecast, Wednesday, October 15th, the Sun sextiles Mars. Personal vitality, creative activities, and relationships are smoothly and positively energized by this aspect, with the Libran Sun at 21 degrees 51 minutes, let's just say 22 Libra for that, and Mars at 22 Sagittarius. This aspect is also part of a kite that ends today. My next video will cover October 16th to 31st, and we'll have a lot to talk about. We're going to have the solar eclipse that always partners with a lunar eclipse. That's a new moon on steroids. The Sun's going to be aspecting Mercury and Venus and Neptune and entering Scorpio. Mercury is going to turn direct and make aspects to Mars, Venus, and Jupiter. Venus is going to aspect Mars and Neptune and enter Scorpio. And if you're hearing a lot of similar things there, it's because the Sun and Mercury and Venus are going to be really close to each other, and the Sun and Venus in particular are going to be traveling very closely together during that period, so they're going to be making a lot of the same aspects. In addition, we'll be talking about Mars entering Capricorn, Neptune making aspects to Vesta and Juno, and a brand new T-square, as if Uranus and Pluto weren't busy enough having T-squares with the Sun and Venus already. A new T-square with Mercury is going to come into the picture as well in the second half of October. I want to give you a few quick announcements. You can save 20% on sessions with me if you think your chart might be strongly affected by these two eclipses in October. Then it's a good time to book a session with me, because 6 months ago we all lived through the Cardinal Grand Cross, the strongest astrological event I've witnessed since becoming an astrologer. On October 8th, with the lunar eclipse, the same astrological territory is lit up again, and again this is the strongest eclipse of the year. The Moon and Sun oppose at 15 Aries Libra, which is less than 2 degrees from where the Cardinal Grand Cross peaked. The Uranus-Pluto square is all tied up in this, so it's a lot of very powerful aspects, as well as the Sun and Moon tight to the nodes. The bottom line for you is that whatever was triggered by April's Cardinal Grand Cross, but has not yet been fully processed, is likely to be stimulated once again by this eclipse. If you're feeling a lot of challenge in the weeks around the eclipse, it may be because you have sensitive natal points being activated by it. That's why I'm running my special again, just like I did during the Cardinal Grand Cross. It's a perfect time to discover exactly how these eclipse energies are affecting your chart and how to make the best use of them. And the only way to really know that is to look at how they are affecting your natal chart, specifically with a live human astrologer. So if you want to save 20% off my regular rates and look at how the eclipse is affecting you as a focal point, with other stuff too, of course, just book or prepay your session by Sunday, October 19th. And just to be super clear, you don't have to do the session by October 19th. You just have to prepay it. As long as you do it sometime in October or as early as possible in November. These eclipse effects last 6 months or more. So even if you don't do it right as the eclipse happens, you have plenty of time to work with the eclipse effects. There's also the solar eclipse that I mentioned I'll be talking about on the next video, and that's on October 23rd. Now, eclipses always come in pairs, as I mentioned. This one's not as powerful as the October 8th eclipse, and most of the aspects are soft. But still, if you are being hit by this in a sensitive point, you could still probably use some advice, if only on how to make the best use of the opportunities it brings. This October 23rd eclipse is at 0 degrees 24 minutes Scorpio. Therefore, it's going to most powerfully affect your natal points if they're in late Libra or earlier Scorpio. But because of the quadrature effect, anything late in Aries, Cancer, and Capricorn, or anything early in Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius will also feel the effects of this eclipse. If you're not sure if you're going to be affected by this, I'll check it for you for free. Just send me an email, info@astroshaman.com, and ask me for a free chart check. I will look at your chart and I'll tell you if the eclipses are strongly affecting you. And that way you can decide whether it's worth it to do the eclipse consultation. So again, info@astroshaman.com. Send me your name as well as your date, time, and city of birth. I'll pull up your chart and look at it and tell you whether the power of the eclipses seems to be affecting you where it counts. So as with all these announcements, you can go to astroshaman.com, and all this is in the What's New section on the home page of astroshaman.com. So check out there for all the things I'm talking about. Let me mention as a final note on this, if even my discounted 20% off is too expensive, I'm normally $180 an hour, and this drops me to $144 an hour. I have a sliding scale, and I'll work for as little as $80 an hour if you truly can't afford the higher rates. I do try to keep myself accessible to clients who aren't just rolling in the dough. So if that's you, then don't hesitate to take advantage of my sliding scale if you need it. Another opportunity I want to briefly mention to you is that you can save $500 on a program called Shamanic Pathways to Initiation. That's October 19th through 28th. I can only offer, well, I'm not actually offering it, the group offering it is doing it, but the first 2 people who sign up for this program and say that they heard about it through me will save $500 on the tuition. That's a significant savings. This program, Shamanic Pathways to Initiation, is a 10-day shamanic immersion initiatory and training program. Again, it's October 19th to 28th. This powerful experience can serve as a personal healing retreat for anyone wishing to delve deeply into their own transformative process. It can also serve as the perfect introductory process for those wishing to begin their healing journey toward ordination as a shamanic minister and/or certification as a shamanic breathwork facilitator. I'm going to be attending for all of those reasons. It's going to be facilitated by Linda Starwolf, Ruby Falconer, and the staff of Venus Rising at Isis Cove Retreat Center, an hour west of Asheville, North Carolina. Again, you can learn more at astroshaman.com. Just scroll down to the What's New section. For those of you local here in the Asheville area, I'll be at the Asheville Coptic Conference this coming weekend, October 3rd and 4th, as I record this, doing reduced rate astrology, shamanic healing, and awakening activation. Pre-registration is closed, but you can come to the event and sign up. There's going to be all sorts of great lectures happening that day for free, and you can spend some of your time working with practitioners if you wish. So, thank you for listening to my announcements, and thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my Benjamin Bernstein YouTube channel to be notified when I post new videos, and if you like this video, please share it. This free video forecast is a partner project with iTunes' #1 astrology audio podcast, This Week in Astrology, which is also free. You can get my semi-monthly astrology forecast in writing by subscribing to my free email newsletter at astroshaman.com. Once you're there, you can also link to my Facebook page where I post daily forecasts. My personal services include astrology, shamanic healing, and awakening activation. All are equally effective in person or long distance. My guarantee makes my services risk-free. If you don't feel that your experience was helpful, there's no charge. I also offer other great products and services, many of which are free. To learn more, visit astroshaman.com. Thanks again for watching. I wish you infinite blessings as the stars light your way.